we're back in the studio today with a new tutorial on doing a liquid panel and a tumbler at the same time. So we'll be spinning the tumbler on the mug spinner with our paint flowing onto it, and then that paint flowing down to the panel, and hopefully we get a beach scene on both of them that looks good, and we'll just see how it works out. If it doesn't work out, then we've tried something and experimented and been creative, so let's give it a try. So here we have our supplies for our next project, which is going to be a tumbler slash a liquid panel. It's going to be a beach pattern. I'm going to spin the tumbler on my mug spinner while I paint it and let the excess paint drop onto this panel and make a piece of art plus a tumbler to save paint. So today we're going to use this liquid panel I got at Michael's, a tumbler I got at Michael's. We're going to use Master's Touch Sky, Artist Loft Gold. We're going to use Blue Lava Master's Touch, Springtime Blue Master's Touch, and Turquoise Master's Touch, and White Master's Touch. Our first step in this process is to sand our mug, our tumbler, with 320 grit sandpaper, and then clean it with some alcohol before we paint on it. So we will get to all of these steps and see how this turns out, and hopefully this video is helpful for you. Okay, so here we are with our project supplies, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to sand our mug until it isn't as shiny as it once was. We do this so that the paint will really stick to this metal mug. Give your mug a good sand. And then you want to clean that with some alcohol. Don't forget to sand the bottom, because you want paint to stick everywhere. So we're going to clean it. Clean it like so. And let that alcohol evaporate off the mug. Have some residue from the sticker down here so we can clean that off at the same time. Clean everything off real good and then just let that evaporate. One thing I did forget is we are going to use Vaseline in this project. The Vaseline goes on the inner rim of the mug. So the Vaseline goes on the inner rim of the mug to keep the paint from sticking to the inside. So just a little bit on your paper towel or tissue and rub that around inside the mug so that the paint won't stick. And then make sure you don't have any on the outside. So we got the mug ready. And then we are going to put our foam insert inside of the mug. This is what holds it on the mug spinner. Attach this to the mug spinner, like so. I was going to use this metal tray to kind of protect my work surface, but sorry, I told you. Okay, so then you want to make sure your mug is over your liquid panel. Over the liquid panel so that it is level. You want it to be level. There we go. And then we will test out our spinner to see if we think our mug is spinning pretty level. Yep, looks level. So what we're going to start with is I do the bottom as sand, waves, and then water. So we're going to start with our gold, our white, and then a dirty pour of blue water here. And we may even try blowing this a little bit with a straw to see what effect that gives. The same as our beach paintings, to see if we can get it to look more swirly like waves instead of just lines. So we're going to start with gold. And actually just realized your gold is going to be pretty, with that panel that way, your gold would be pretty far up on the panel. So I'm actually going to do my panel this way so that it'll be gold, white, and then blue. Yep, gold, white, and then blue. Okay, so start with gold and just dribble a little on so it starts coating all around. And it drips onto your panel.
The deck is stacked. You can whisper behind my.
Then we do white.
You can show me how the odds are up against me all day long. But I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Oh, now I'm right.
And then we want to mix our blues for our dirty pour in our cup. While that spins together, blue, another blue, and another blue, just kind of whatever order you want those in. And I'm running out of paint. I'm trying to use up the last little bits of my paint here. And then I think I want some navy, which I didn't pull out. So we'll pull out some navy. And this is Master's Touch Navy. Put that in there. A little more blue on top of that. Maybe a little white. Oh, and I normally do... So, oh, there's no white in there. I've got our blues in here. And we're going to start our dirty pour of blue up here.
My feet have come too far for you to tie them to the ground. Can't stop me now. Can't stop.
And we don't have quite enough paint, so we're going to have to do more. But you can also just squeeze it on up here. Actually, I like the way that's turning out with, so we're going to put it in the cup. Blue, more light blue, more sky blue, more blue, if we have any. Yep. Do we have any turquoise left? A little bit. I'm going to put that in our cup. And we're going to start putting that on up here.
You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now. Though my feet have come too far for you to tie them to the ground.
Okay. See how that moves around. Looks like we need a little more gold down here.
Can't stop me. Oh, yeah. Can't stop me now. No, you can't stop me.
Oops. This is the technique we use on our canvases normally. And we're going to try it on this mug and see what happens here. And gently, because you can see that it's splattering on the canvas, but that'll get covered up when we finish this pour down here. And then we really do want some more gold on here, up here. And I need some white on the blue here, so I'm going to find some white. So put some white And this is also helping us move the paint around so that we don't have to use quite as much. And then as it spins, it'll start to form lines again, but they will be different, more interesting lines than if you just let it spin by itself without the blowing. I think in the end but it's all going to level itself out. We do want to make sure we get some paint over the edge of the bottom of this mug here onto the bottom. So I'm just going to add some more gold down here. Now you can always paint this at the end too if it doesn't get completely coated with gold. So I'm letting that spin. Now when I go to take the liquid panel out, the cup needs to continue spinning and it needs to have some place to drip the paint. So we're going to have to replace the panel with our metal thing, or a piece of like a paper bag or something to protect the surface below here. So I want to make sure my mug is completely coated and has kind of dripped quite a bit before I pull that panel out. To start that process of painting. So I'm going to grab a paper bag here. It's very interesting. I love it. I love the way this is turning out. I have some spots up at the top here. That didn't have paint on them. So I wanted to make sure I got those covered. And it looks like I have a lump of paint there, so I'm going to get that off. Okay. Let that spin a few more times before we pull the panel out. Wow, that is beautiful. It really looks like the ocean. Okay. I don't really see any more drips coming off. I am going to have to paint the bottom when I get done, when the mug dries, before I resin it. So we are going to move our panel slowly out from underneath here. It's probably going to need some more paint. We'll see. Put our paper bag underneath, because you're going to have to let this mug spin until it dries. It'll be a couple days. And now we have our panel here, which we're going to move our paint around. Get our panel coated. Just realized you guys couldn't see what I was doing. I was up too high. Just let it kind of flow mostly over the panel, and then you're going to get your straw out again, like we've done in our previous tutorials. And I'm going to move this around. Just keep moving it around and just flow the paint some more to get the whole canvas coated. This does take a little while. You might need to add more paint like we normally do. paint. So the GoPro I was using just ran out of battery power. I don't know how much of the video you saw, but here we have our mug spinning on the mug spinner, and we have our finished beach scene here. Looks a little different than our last ones. I am going to have to paint the edges of this wood panel to clean that up where I kind of went over, but I think I can do that with some blue paint and kind of make it look like stained. And then we'll leave the mug spinning until it dries, and we'll come back to these projects here in a couple days after they've dried. Well, we're back at the end of our video where we did a tumbler on a spinner with acrylic paint and a painted panel in a beach scene. And between the time that I made my video and the time that I published it, the tumbler with the beach scene sold. So I can't show you the end product of that, but I can show you the end product of our panel, which is right here. We maybe didn't quite get enough paint onto this panel because it has some splitting here. I haven't coated it with resin yet, and I haven't finished the edges, but it did turn out pretty good. And I think once I put the resin on, the splits won't show up as much. They'll just be part of the beauty of the piece. Also, just wanted to let you know that if you need to know how to coat a tumbler with resin, that video is already posted to my channel, and I'll link it in the notes below. I hope that this video has been helpful to you and that it has encouraged you to create and make art on your own. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks!